Ike's Love and Sandwiches is launching the Meltzer More Than Enough sandwich.
Sweet.
Based off the MaaS.
Amazing.
It's my own category of sandwich. I hope you.
They beat me to it.
We're gonna have to do that at Cali barbecue. Double the meat, double the cheese, double the sauce, double the veggies.
What is media as a service? We all are familiar with software as a service, SaaS model, but what is the new MaaS model, media as a service? My name's Shawn Walchef. This is Digital Hospitality. This is Inside the Coaching Call with my mentor, Dave Meltzer. He has helped me build a media company on top of my restaurant business. We were doing deals with over 20 of the top restaurant technology companies in the world. I just got back from New York City. I was invited by Google. Yes, the big company Google. They invited 25 industry influencers for an insider event. We had a lot of information that was shared under NDA, but we also had a lot of information that we shared. I have some big events that I'm going to be doing this year, thanks to the foundational work that Dave has helped me. And today I'm really excited because I get to talk to him about something that I've been watching him do. I've been a student of his because he is the top of the class when it comes to media as a service. He has figured out how to capture content. He is not a content creator. He is a content capturer, but he also hosts numerous shows, so many shows that he couldn't even list them off the last time that I had him on our coaching call. But Dave, let's start with what are your thoughts when I say media as a service, a MaaS model? You're very familiar with SaaS as well.
Of course, I started my career in SaaS with Westlaw, and we exited for $3.4 billion. So I got the exposure to the mass of the SaaS. And when you talk about MaaS, that's exactly why media as a service is so powerful, because the total addressable community is completely confirming what Shakespeare articulated thousands of years ago, which is the whole world is your stage. And so when we think about MaaS, we think about mass community, mass exposure, mass amplification, MaaS perpetuation, which is why I'm the chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute, because it has already established the MaaS. And now when I integrate and infuse the other MaaS to the MaaS, meaning media as a service, to something that already is established as a community worldwide, billions of people are familiar with Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill, How to Sell Through Life, and of course, the laws of success. When we can create a MaaS from the MaaS, that's truly the meaning of why media is now established as big, if not bigger than SaaS, because media as a service is amplified and perpetuated to the total addressable community of over 7 billion people.
When did you first realize that you were building a MaaS model, a media as a service model?
Once I really understood how my values and behaviors were executed in the realm of capture, modify, amplify, and perpetuate. And that MaaS model is also the model in what the impact is of the MaaS, meaning that when you utilize the capture, modify, amplify, and perpetuate strategy within the MaaS media of a service, you actually can capture more options, opportunities, and touches of favor. You can distribute those internally and externally according to the capabilities that you have internally and others have externally, like Google. And then you can utilize the things that I coach people in, train people in, mentor people in, how to prioritize the MaaS. Because one of the difficulties of the MaaS is the MaaS is more than enough. In fact, I'm launching at Super Bowl. One of our friends, I had to get away. Walchef won't come up to any of my events and give me any barbecue anymore. So I partnered with.
I caught you. I got you. I see what you did there.
Then come up today. You started traveling again. I haven't seen you travel with me, but come up. This is Jewish guilt, another one of my great skills.
That's good. I like it.
Come up. Because Wahoo's Tacos is great. Ike's Love and Sandwiches is launching the Meltzer More Than Enough sandwich.
Sweet.
Based off the MaaS.
Amazing.
It's my own category of sandwich. I hope you.
They beat me to it.
I've been waiting, but I can't wait forever. But I'm hoping that
you can wait forever. You're the patient Buddha. Come on now.
Okay, well we're gonna have to do that at Cali barbecue because I created my own category of sandwich. It's called the no po' boy category.
No,
No po' boy.
that's
And
fantastic.
it's a more than enough MaaS sandwich. It's the Meltzer more than enough sandwich. Double the meat, double the cheese, double the sauce, double the veggies. That's a more than enough sandwich. You're illustrating your faith in the universe, just like with MaaS, media as a service, that there's more than enough for everything
Yes.
for everyone, which is why you want to be the show, not the commercial.
Tell me, so I'm wearing this is something, this is the mantra for Cali Barbecue Media. We believe be the show, not the commercial. When you're creating stories, when you're telling stories, one of the most powerful lessons that David has taught me and he continues to teach me is just talk about stories, talk about the lessons from the stories. Nobody wants to hear your shit. No one wants to buy your dumb products. No one wants to hear, people care about themselves and they learn through lessons and stories. Can you share why is that so important in what you teach and how you've learned how to repeat stories and get better at those stories? Because a lot of
Yeah,
people have a lot of problems with that.
comes from Sanskrit. I do a lot of studying of history because history illustrates human nature and human nature never changes. And in Sanskrit, they had written the rules of being human. And throughout the lessons of being human, the rules of being human is the lessons about lessons. And it states very clearly, beyond that you're given a body in the human experience, that life is about lessons and the lessons keep on coming until you learn them. And throughout history, we have taught lessons in only one way: telling stories. And now the way that we told stories is different than the way that Shakespeare told her stories, even though he somehow understood that more people would know Shakespeare than David Meltzer and Shawn Walchef combined times about a million. But more importantly, he understood that life was about lessons. And the better that you taught the lessons through story, whether it's mosaics on a wall, whether it's Bibles, and now today, whether it's the MaaS, media as a service, what really resonates with people is what they strongly agree with or strongly disagree with. And so let me give you a strategy as a MaaS person himself, maybe the inceptor of MaaS. So many people in digital media, they're so concerned about the unsubscriber, right? And they should be.
That's
They
powerful.
should be, but not for the reason that they think they should be. They're so worried about the unsubscriber because they think that it is a form of rejection. No, it's a form of protection, promotion, love, and perfection. It's an indicator on how strong your single is, how wide your spectrum is, and how clear your message is. So the more unsubscribers you have, the more people that are in love with you, the more engaged ambassadors you're going to have. And unsubscribers cost you zero, but ambassadors gain you exponential. They're the most valuable thing. That's why my whole mission in life, to empower over 1,000 people, to empower 1,000, to empower 1,000, is just to find 1,000 ambassadors.
Yep.
Now, in order to get there, I'll probably have to get to millions of unsubscribers. Donald Trump probably is the most powerful and most well-recognized human being on earth at this time. And so he has more unsubscribers than anyone on earth.
Yeah.
And if he was afraid of his unsubscribers, he wouldn't be the biggest brand in the world.
Yeah.
And now I don't want to go that far where 50% of the people unsubscribe from me and 50% love me. I don't need that. That's not my business model. I don't think that's a very positive thing because you have to be so far to one direction to get that many unsubscribers.
Yeah.
But there is a very comfortable, profitable, passionate, purposeful place to play, if you like the letter P, in the effect of having 20% of the people unsubscribe to you. Because when you get with the biggest people on the biggest stages, like Shawn and I do, and you have an extraordinary reach to a total addressable community of over 7 billion people, now when you have 20% of unsubscribers and you have 20% of those as ambassadors, the rate of return will be so great, and the positive perspective that you are participating in and empowering others to participate in will be unbelievably fulfilling.
Can you share about the Super Bowl? Now that we're talking about MaaS media as a service, what you've learned seeing the Super Bowl go from Radio Row, the original where two teams are playing, yet all these cities are sending, their sports radio talk hosts to cover the event to now, I mean, I don't even know how many press and media badges that the NFL gives out for the big game, but I'm sure it's significant. You've been there through the whole thing. So can you share a little bit about that?
35 years. I'll be on Radio Row on Thursday and
Is it
Friday.
still called Radio Row?
Still called Radio Row. And I'll
Like it.
be with Sirius XM radio. That's satellite radio, digital radio. So I will be with the biggest satellite radio organization in the world, where my shows, you could catch the playbook on Sirius XM app, and easily listen to me on Mad Dog with Coach's Corner
Sweet.
on Win Daily as well. So I'll be on Radio Row Thursday and Friday. I will be with unbelievable people, but it's, for me, it built my business model, Shawn, because think about this. I used to spend half of my year to create the Lee Steinberg Super Bowl party. Half of my year, and I'd get a whole year's worth of business from
Yep.
the Lee. It's the oldest and biggest party. We created and owned Tuesday at 2. We created and owned the business concept at the Super Bowl on Saturdays at 2:00.
Yep.
The who's who, and Lee still does a great job, but it's changed. And so today I realized I own Friday at 1:00 when they're launching the Meltzer More Than Enough sandwich. Friday at 1:00, come to Ike's Love and Sandwiches. We're going to have Michael Chandler with me, Marshall Falk, I think Donovan McNabb. We might even have Patrick Peterson, Calvin Johnson, the Megatron. We're all going to be at Players Impact, Mike Tannenbaum.
Amazing.
But think about this. With all that going on, what I realized at Radio Row, everybody wanted to go to the Maxim party. Everybody wanted to go to the Lee Steinberg party. And it was all this work. But what I realized was the inner circle of value was created in 3 respects that I wanted to mirror in my business. The Radio Row is the number one experience of the Super Bowl. Number one.
I agree.
My favorite experience
I've never been.
beyond that, it was Snoop Dogg's party with 100 people, me, Gary V, Warren G, Netflix. We had a private party when he was doing the halftime show on Saturday. They had a weed bar, a munchie bar, a wine bar, a beer bar. It was the best party I've ever been to, but Radio Row's a better experience.
Wow.
2, business development. What made Lee Steinberg's party so valuable was it was a great experience, but it had business development beyond. The who's who, the billionaires, millionaires, entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, entertainers, all came in. Jamie Foxx, Troy Aikman, Warren Moon, Steve Young, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holt, everybody was there. So I mirrored those 2 components. I wanted to create, and I'm creating it again. I create it every week digitally for the MaaS because of the 3rd component. You see, I'm going to own Friday at 1:00 at the Super Bowl. Everybody come and meet me, and all of my crowd come and meet me 1:00 at Ike's Love and Sandwiches on Friday and get a Meltzer More Than Enough sandwich, a new category that they're going to serve up at Cali Barbecue called the No Po' Boy. And let me just tell you this. All of those experiences and all that business development is diminished compared to the biggest value, the key to the MaaS, which is post-production content. It's why you want to be the show, not the commercial. The commercial itself is just post-production content. When they started highlighting the Super Bowl commercials on YouTube, that was proof of my business model. So everything I do has a quantitative value, and it's guaranteed because I create the greatest experiences by bringing the biggest stages and the biggest people together. I create the unbelievable business development by creating that atmosphere. And finally, I make it perpetual by creating the best post-production content that not only do I amplify, but you amplify and everyone in our neighborhood amplify. That's why I created, Shawn, a private networking group where we all have overlap agreements and we all are there to help one another and know people that can help each other, monetizing and materializing what we want at a higher accelerated pace with more aggregate people and exponential outcomes for everyone. So I want everyone to join my private networking group. You still get one-on-one access to me, a little bit of advice, not the one-on-one access that Shawn gets in the intimate level, but you get access to me every day to ask me questions and to get my coaching and advice on top of the networking group. So please, everyone, david@dmeltzer.com.
So high level, finally Informa, who runs the National Restaurant Association show in Chicago. It's the biggest, it's our Super Bowl for our restaurant industry. They reached out to me and they want me to come up with a plan So I'm going to have to high level ask you, what would David Meltzer do when Informa reaches out to amplify the work that promote the event, capture content, post produce the event? I mean, we've been doing it for 3 years, and like I shared with them on the call, we love the event because it gives us they created the stage, and it's our job to amplify that stage and to bring other people like us that believe in the stage theory to this party.
Yeah. So what you want to do is you want to, one, you want to own a stage. Two, you want to own the podcast media at the event. Three, you want to make sure that you're capturing the stage and the podcast studio. Four, you want to bring all the people to the stage that are the biggest people, so that the biggest stages and the biggest people get the greatest amplified messaging in post-production content, including the same with the podcast studio as well. So you want both of those. You also want to create a subsidiary event, which, I've been trying to get you to do, but you're too far in your own way still. And, everybody doesn't know what they don't know. And I'm going to keep on giving them Jewish guilt, but,
keep the
I
Jewish
sure
guilt coming. Eventually the light bulb will come off.
I have a meetup at every event. I have a holding court for business development and higher level relationships. And I have a VIP dinner for charity. And I partner with the event to create a greater awareness and more people involved. And I co-brand it. So, every Aspire, we have the Diamond Lunch with David Meltzer. Every Aspire Tour, we have the VIP dinner. Every Sigma, every Web Summit, every GITEX, all of the hundreds of events that I have today, we're releasing Go Fund Yourself on Cheddar, right? So I'm executive producer of Elevator Pitch with Entrepreneur Magazine, which is how I got Shawn involved.
Yep.
And I still, even though I'm not in the show, I'm, the executive producer and owner of that show. Right afterwards is Cheddar's show and my new show, Go Fund Yourself, where you actually can fund up to a minimum of $100, the crowdfunding with the Reg CF, and buy the products.
Amazing.
And so, you should have, and you should be up in my office today, my new office. You probably don't even know we're at Irvine Towers, and we have a huge studio in Irvine Towers, the 7th and the 9th floor. We got Mastermind. We got the release party for Go Fund Yourself and a VIP dinner tonight. And Shawn Walchef, it's right up the street from you. You got to get more involved with me other than this podcast, because I miss you.
I will. That is heard loud and clear. That is David Meltzer. David, where can people reach out to you? You're weirdly available.
I'm weirdly available. I love that. Be the show, not the commercial. Learn from Shawn Walchef. David@dmeltzer.com. Email me directly. I want you in my private networking group. You do get one-on-one weirdly access to me. Show up to our meetups, our holding courts, the Super Bowl, the More Than Enough sandwich. Please come up and join us for a VIP lunch, VIP dinner. Be a part of a neighborhood, a bunch of people that want to help each other and know people that help each other. Learn how to utilize the MaaS for the masses. I appreciate this kid. He is amazing. If you knew where he started, you'd be calling me immediately and saying, I want the Shawn Walchef plan.
I want the Shawn Walchef special.
Exactly. If I can do it for this cat, I can do it for anyone. David@dmeltzer.com. I did it for freaking Jeff Fenster, and he is the lowest of the low when it comes to skill and talent. This guy, at least, is charismatic. So David@dmeltzer.com.
We appreciate you, Dave. Thank you guys for watching. As always, stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We'll catch you guys next show.